Round 3 team. First live stream. Figure I'd just come and hang out for, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes or so and talk a little bit about the UFC Seattle card and touch just very lightly on the MVP Netflix card that I believe is in May. So I just kind of wanted to come on here, say thank you to all my early supporters, and just kind of get a feel for the live. So we are going to get right into it. So on the prelims, I was really shocked looking at the card and looking at all these fights. Got Ricky Simone and Adrian Yanez fighting on the prelims. You got Navajo Sterling fighting Bruno Lopez. Marcin Tybura is on the prelims. Chase Hooper versus Lance Gibson's on the prelims. Ignacio Baja Mendez. I mean, this is a pretty stacked prelim card, and I'd say the fight I'm most confused about being on the prelims is maybe not. I guess one half of the fight is Ricky Simone. Maybe not Adrian Yanez so much, but Ricky Simone won all 3 of his fights last year. So I don't know. I'm just a bit confused on that one. That one I do not understand. Chase Hooper, I want to say he was finished in his last fight, so that's understandable. Baja Mendez, I want to say he lost his last fight too. Was that to Fiziev? Just going off of memory here, guys. But so just on to the main card. Super, super awesome card this weekend. Terrence McKinney is fighting Kyle Nelson to open up the main card. So, that fight's probably going to end in the first round. Mansur Abdul Malik is fighting on the main card against Usari Bulgari. Julian Arosa still fighting. Didn't realize that. That's awesome. Michael Chiesa and Nico Price. You got 2 scrappy veterans. 2 scrappy veterans in the featured card. I'm sorry, in the featured bout, rather. So, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. I'm looking forward to the Seattle card. I'm not going to touch too much on the main event and the co-main event just because that's usually, as you guys know, that's what I do on the flagship show. That'll more than likely be released a bit late on Thursday this week, unfortunately. So, yeah, great card, though. Great, great card. So, just drop what fight you're most excited for this weekend on the card. I mean, there's a ton of them to look forward to. Yeah, I will touch on the co-main event a bit. Alexa Grasso versus Macy Barber, I think, is going to be a phenomenal fight. Macy Barber is never usually in a boring fight. So, I mean, she's always getting after it. So that'll be fun. We all know the credentials of Israel Adesanya and, going against Joe Pyfer, the up-and-comer. So that'll be an exciting one. Joe Pyfer, he hasn't been. Actually, want to look back here because I was looking at this the other day and it kind of shocks me. I kind of assumed, but he hasn't been. I mean, you guys know me and my activity. He just hasn't been as active as I would like since he's been in the UFC. He's been in the UFC since 2022, and he's had 1, 2, 3. I want to say it's 8, but I'm going to go back and just double check myself. Yeah, it looks like 7. This will be his 8th fight. This will be his 8th fight in the UFC in 4 years. I would like to see a little more activity than that out of someone who has the story that Joe Pyfer does and is coming from where he does. and is trying to get to the places where Joe Piper's trying to go, I would like to see him fighting a bit more. I don't think he hasn't fought more than twice in a year since he's been in the UFC, and I don't know what that. I know he had a lot of a lot of financial issues early on in his career, but I feel like Dana helped him along with all that, and he should be good to go now. But I don't know, just not fighting as much as I would like. Yeah, and his last fight was against a Boost, so which was a solid win, really solid win he had against a Boost. I don't rate that high, but he's still a good fighter. Boost is still a good fighter, so the Kelvin Gastelum fight for him was not a great look though. And that's a fight I will talk a little bit more about, and I'm gonna actually start taping tomorrow. That fight is one that I've been really, really wanting to look back and take another look at, just considering how the fight with Izzy and Kelvin went. So yeah, that's something I really need to go and study. But once again, thank you for everyone here. Thank you for everyone rocking with me the past month or so. It's been super, super fun, extremely rewarding, and just also humbling in the same way. So thank you, thank you, thank you for just all the support, all the kind words, and just all the motivation. It's meant a lot. It really has. So now I am going to look up. I want to get. I've been seeing, just as I'm sure as you all have as well, just all kinds of posts on this MVP card and the Netflix, the Netflix first ever MMA event. So I want to try to find an official, at least somewhat official. I don't want to just go off of screenshots and. But yeah, I mean, as you know, at the top, I mean, you can just go off the fights that we do know that are going to be on there, which is Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano. Hopefully, it's entertaining for as long as it lasts. I mean, these ladies haven't fought in an extremely long time, so it's going to be interesting to see. Yep, and then Francis Ngannou versus Felipe Lins, Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. So there was one more fight. Junior Dos Santos is supposed to be fighting. I saw him supposed to be two different opponents I saw him getting matched up with. So I'm not too sure what to make of that. Let me just click on something here and get something official and start really rolling on this. Sorry about that. I don't know if I lost anyone there for a minute. Having a little bit of connection issues, so sorry about that. Trying to wait for this to clear up before I start talking. It looks like we're good now. Sorry, my laptop is locking up a ton right now. Okay. Netflix MVP card. Here we go. So I don't know a handful of these fighters, but I'm gonna start with, goodness gracious. Yeah, Muhammad Makayev versus Adriano. I thought it was Morales, but it says Marias here. I thought it was the gentleman from the one promotion he was supposed to be fighting. Anywho, that's, I mean, these guys are probably the most active, at least on, it looks like this is the main card. So that is probably going to be a somewhat entertaining fight. These guys have been actively fighting the past 4 or 5 years. And Makayev got cut from the UFC recently, and he's been really hungry to make his way back and trying to prove himself. Junior Dos Santos and Robelis Despain, we all know about Despain. He had a cup of coffee in the UFC, and they bounced him right out of there after, I want to say, 2 or 3 straight losses. He started off with 1 or 2 quick knockouts like he had on the regional scene, and yeah, it was just a flash in the pan. He was, I want to say Taekwondo background, and has absolutely no ground game, and that was exposed by, I want to say Austin Lane was his last fight in the UFC. JDS, if you're an old school fan, somewhat old school fan, I won't claim too far back, but I've been watching fights since 2008, and Junior Dos Santos was in his prime then, and he was taking people's heads off. So that'll be cool to see. I'm not too sure how old he is now, but it'd be cool to see JDS get back in there. He has been fighting, if I'm not mistaken. I want to say I looked up his Tapology, and he has been fighting somewhat recently. I want to say his last fight was a handful of years ago, but it's not like he's been too far removed from fighting. Felipe Lins and Francis Ngannou. We all know the story about Francis in the UFC. We all know the story about Francis and his power, and just the kind of character that he is, and the story and the background that he has, the tragedies that he's had to overcome in the past couple of years. I mean, Francis Ngannou has a great story, and he bet on himself, and it absolutely worked. So it's nice to see when things work out like that. Felipe Lins I've watched him a couple times in the UFC. I want to say he fought at light heavyweight. So I would just say he's here just to get a paycheck, and I don't even think he might land a leg kick or two, but I think he's there just to get folded up in the first couple minutes of that fight. So that's how I think that goes down. Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. This is one where, yeah, they've been, Nate's been boxing, Mike Perry's been doing the bare knuckle. So you can kind of say these guys are active, but if I had to choose someone in this fight, I'd probably go with Nate, because I think this is 5 rounds. If it was 3 round, I'd go Mike Perry all day. But I think Nate can probably drag Perry late and finish him there. Mike Perry's great in these short, little, quick 2 or 3 minute rounds, and bare knuckle, and it's, these super close quarters, and you can get right after it. But I see, if this is going to be a legitimate fight, and they're both are putting in some type of work and training, I see Nate comfortably, taking this over in the 3rd or 4th round, and then going from there. Mike Perry's not a 5-round, 5-minute, 5-round fighter. I don't know how long. I'm assuming these are going to be 5-minute rounds. I haven't looked that far into it as well. I hate to say it, but yeah, that's my take on that fight. Mike Perry's got great hands, good boxing, great dirty boxing, obviously, as we know, and he can take a punch. I don't think Nate's gonna just get him out of there with. Obviously not. We know Nate doesn't have power. He's not going to just get him out of there with 1 or 2 shots, but Yeah, the accumulation of shots are gonna build up on Mike, and whether it's a doctor stoppage or he's just not able to keep going, that's how I think that fight ends. So yeah, I'm gonna go Nate Diaz in that one, and then at the top, uh, Rousey and Carano, Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. I mean, I don't know what to make of this. I don't. I think it's gonna look like an absolute mess. If I'm being 100% honest, I think it's gonna be an absolute mess. And I think I mean I don't I guess it's scheduled for 5 rounds because of the main event, but I don't see this fight. If it goes more than 2 rounds, it's gonna look absolutely terrible. I mean, these women are both so far removed from fighting, and I mean, I hate to say it, even Ronda's last, fight, what, 10 years ago, 9, 10 years ago. I mean, she didn't look good then. We all know what happened. So to come back 10 years later against Carano, who's going to be the bigger woman here, I don't know, man. I do not know. Rousey may have the strength and aggression, but we'll see. We'll see how hot that fire burns and for how long. I mean, I don't. Cardio is going to be such a factor in this fight with it being removed for so long. I mean, this could start looking really ugly really quick. So that's really my take on the Netflix card. I'll give you guys some more later on this weekend with Chase. We're gonna go live either Thursday or Sunday evening. Chase and I are gonna go live, so I'll have a little bit more for you, and you can expect more lives like this. With myself, I'm gonna bring my buddy Eric on. I have a friend Cody who's a newer fan. I'm gonna have him on in a couple months to give kind of a new fan perspective. So we're gonna have some fun with this, and it's not just gonna be the videos once or twice a week. I'm gonna try to come at you guys live when I have time, and at least jump on here for 20, 30 minutes or so, and just rap about some stuff and what's on my mind, even if it's MMA related or not. But I just wanted to touch a little bit of this. This card's been on my mind, and I'd been wanting to talk about it for a week or so now. The more and more these fights have been getting added to it, so. But a lot of these fight, I mean, a lot of these are filler. I'll go through just to be respectful here. Saladin Paranese versus Kenneth Cross. Lorenz Larkin versus Jason Jackson. I know who Lorenz Larkin is. Alien Pereira versus Jade Masson Wong. David Mohan versus Albert Morales. Namo Fazil versus Jake Babian. And then they have Chris Avila on here versus To Be Determined. So that is. Looks like 13 fights. I mean, they got a full card. So we'll see how those undercards look. I don't think this main card is going to look like much. I think the best fight you're going to get on the main card is Adriano Morales versus Muhammad Makayev. I think those are the two most active fighters that you got on the main card. I think that's going to be the best you're going to get. You're probably going to get a quick knockout in the Ngannou fight. Maybe see JDS turn the clock back and knock out Rebellis, or he's going to get knocked out. So you got 2 first-round knockouts, I feel like, with the heavyweight fights. You got a 3 to 5 round war with the Nate Diaz and Mike Perry fight. And you have 5 to 10 minutes of decent MMA with the Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano fight before they fall off a cliff. That's how I think this card goes. So that's my take on it. Thank you for hanging out for the first live. Like I said, we're calling this round 3 dinner. I will be back Thursday evening or Sunday evening with my boy Chase. Chase Militia Keebler, who we did the interview with a few weeks back. So he's going to be joining me every Sunday minimum for a live stream. We're going to be, just hacking it up about all kinds of stuff. So thanks for hanging out, and I will see you next time in round 3.